How did you feel when you may well have been aware of some of the stuff that Sabisky had said in the past, and it is his past thoughts that have really come back to sort of bite him. How did you feel when you became aware of the sort of views that he has on eugenics and such like when he was made a Downing Street aide?
Oh, I'll be surprised. Look, to be perfectly honest with you, I was not surprised, but at the same time, I was outraged that we have a government that seems to be allowed to get away with this kind of thing. And the reason I'm not surprised is because, Matthew, look, we've talked about Boris Johnson. We've talked about his ability to lie through everything, the fact that he's untrustworthy and the kind of people he surrounds himself with, right? And the thinking and the fact that his words and his comments ride on the fumes of far-right rhetoric. We've talked about that for a good number of years, yet people put him in number 10. So it shouldn't surprise people that an Andrew Sabisky got the opportunity to work as a special advisor. Heck, all we know is Andrew Sabisky now. It makes me question who else within his special advisors thinks this way.
Yes.
Because Andrew Sabisky, as far as I'm concerned, is a reflection of his employer. And the fact that neither Dominic Cummings nor Boris Johnson think that they should come out and explain themselves to the public, I actually want to put that responsibility at our feet. Because you see, during the elections, they got away with jack all. They got away with not, with avoiding scrutiny. They got away with giving us all kinds of nonsense that each time they were challenged on, and sometimes not even challenged on, they did not feel compelled to respond, but yet we gave them the highest office in the land. So why in heaven's name does anybody expect them to now realize, oh, actually, we should come out and say something when people did not put them in a position whereby they do not have unfettered power? So yeah, the Andrew Sabiskys of this world exist. But we currently live in a Britain which is divided by divisive rhetoric, divided by all of these issues around Islamophobia, homophobia, racism, and it's coming to light because we allow ourselves to have leaders and people in high-profile positions who get away with saying these things, and we call it misspeak. We call it,
yes.
oh, well, it was wrong, it wasn't racist, it's this, it's not that. Because we live in this kind of environment, that is why the Andrew Sabisky's can come out and, did you see his tweet about resigning?
Yeah.
He showed no remorse, no change of mindset. He said, oh, he just wants to save number 10 from this drama. Can you believe that? Now, if he's saying that, that's because neither Dominic Cummings or Boris Johnson took him to task. That's right.
Well, I just wonder whether there's a number of people that are of note who have written, academics mainly, who've written into, I think it was The Guardian today. One of them I took a note of is Chris Sinner, honorary professor at UEA. And he wrote that racism entrenched in this government's policies we already know from the Windrush scandal and the Home Office's hostile environment. Now it seems that it is to be embedded as ideological choice and political direction at the heart of government. Sabisky has resigned, but whoever hired him in the first place should be sacked, and our citizens should be warned this is where the Johnson government is quite consciously, quite ruthlessly headed, unless we can stop it. Would you concur with all of that?
Oh, every single word is truth. But you see, the reality is what has just been written today in that column is what people have been saying for years. Yet we have a majority of this country that decided that Brexit was far more important than the values we hold, that it's far more important that ensuring inequality and injustice does not continue to structure our lived experiences. So, it's all well and good, all of us saying these things, us being outraged, us, pointing, rightfully the finger and saying, you are wrong here and this needs to be dealt with. But we do not gather collective, power in saying that actually this is so wrong. The roots of this problem are those that we've given the power and who are exercising this power in the wrong way. We do not use our collective power through our votes, through our voices. We're not going to make any difference. You and I will still be having this conversation.
Yes, I think we will. I think we will. There's I think, an even darker aspect to this, if you'll permit me, Shola, which is that Sabisky, of his many flaws, which is attending dodgy meetings with very dodgy people, it's been alleged that hanging out with white supremacists, but he also seems to have a clear interest in eugenics, the science, if we like, of creating a master race or of getting rid of anything that doesn't fit with that perspective. Now, in 2013, there was a headline, I believe, from The Observer, in which the headline was Michael Gove, who was then Education Secretary, is urged to reject aide's chilling views. The aide was Dominic Cummings, and the chilling views were a paper he'd written out on eugenics. And, of course, it's Dominic Cummings that we believe is responsible for the hiring of Andrew Sabisky 7 years down the line, Shola.
Exactly. You see, this is the problem right here. It's all well and good. You know, you and I are on the same page. I think all of us on this call are on the same page.
Most sensible people are.
Yeah, I hope to God the listeners are as well. But can I just say the responsibility for allowing this thing to grow, this kind of hatred and the white supremacy that exists in our highest offices, the responsibility for allowing this to grow is actually at our doorstep.
I agree.
Because we know exactly who we put in number 10. We know exactly who we've allowed him to come along with him, whether it's Dominic Cummings or anybody else. But yet we said, it's okay. Brexit is more important. Or all you people, you're just lying. You're just Project Fear. So it gets to the point that it is so important. I'm going to say this to every single person listening. Under no circumstances should we give up hope. Under no circumstances should we allow this kind of rhetoric, this kind of behavior to go ahead, in front of us. We have to step right in front of it, because even though it exists, even though the Boris Johnson and the Dominic Cummings are out there doing their thing, we must put a stop to their nonsense.